Hello again, my gnomies. It's time once again to play What's in the Box. It's That's right. We have not one but two boxes to open up today. Ah, boy, the excitement builds, doesn't it? And even more so because I'm not sure this one will fit yet. And if this one does fit, I don't really know if this one is going to fit on this one. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to hook them all together. Confused? Well, you're not alone. Stick around for answers here on the MT and me. Hello again, Nomies. Welcome back to the MT and me. I want to start off today with an update on a past story. And it's a good update. I was sitting in my living room today, and I noticed a familiar sound, that of heavy machinery in my front yard. So, we went to look, and these guys were back working on my ditch. Now remember, in last week's episode, I showed you how they were drilling, doing the horizontal drilling in my ditch, and they got their machines done. At about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just about the time they're getting ready to knock off work, the machine got stuck. These fellas worked until, I don't know, at least 10:30 or 11 o'clock that night, trying to get that machine out of the ditch. I gave up and went to bed. But at some point, they drug it out on the street and moved on, leaving me a total mess behind. I showed you that last week too, and I figured that that was it. I wouldn't see them again, and that I'd have to clean all this up. Well, today they proved me wrong. These two guys from the crew were out there working with a ditch digger and a shovel, trying their best to get the ditch back in condition that it was, and to even fill in the ruts that they had left in my front yard from moving their trucks and heavy machinery around in their efforts to get their machine. When they finally had done about as much as they could do, the digger operator even got off and put my 911 sign back in place. Now I guess I'll have to clear all that hedgerow so that it can be seen. But anyway, I went out. I thanked him for coming back, told him how much I really, really appreciated their efforts. They loaded their machine up and went off to their next project, leaving behind me, a fairly satisfied customer who hadn't asked for any of this in the first place. As for the finished product today, the ruts in my front yard are not completely gone, but my goodness, they're so much better than they were. It really does make a difference. And I can work with this and eventually get the ground evened out once again. No problem. And as for the ditch, they got those big boards out. They smoothed out the surface well as best as they could. And most importantly, that bottom is concave once again. So I think it'll drain water just fine. I think once a little coating of grass grows back, that ditch will be just about as good as it ever was. So thanks, fellas, for coming back and cleaning up behind yourselves. I really didn't expect it. But it just goes to show you, don't give up on your fellow man. There's a lot of good people and good work crews, and they believe in doing the job right. Thanks again, my friends. Thanks again. So, it's time to find out what's in the boxes. We're going to start with the big one, because this is my most recent order. Last week, I showed you some connectors that I thought were finally going to do the trick here on Pearl's fuel line connection. Well, those connectors, I hope, are in this box, which apparently was sealed with the toughest tape known to mankind. There we are. Okay. Half-inch 22 thread connectors. Although on the box it says they're 2644 connectors. Let's open one up and see right off the bat if I am correct this time or bound for disappointment once again. There have been so many disappointments. Will this be the right one? There's only one way to find out. Look at that. It fits. It fits. Oh my goodness, it fits. It is the correct size. Oh. I'm not tightening it up, obviously, but the point is, it's gonna work. It's really gonna work. Okay. So if it fits there, I'll double check to be sure, but I know it'll fit on the carburetor because they are the same connection. Oh. Well, I can open the other one now that I know they work and find out something else, because having the connections on the fuel pump and the carburetor is indeed half the battle, but we do have to go from point A to point B, and to do that, let's look in the other box here, because it contains fuel line. Yeah, fuel line. Fuel line that is not marked to size. As I told you earlier, this end is a half-inch 22 thread. Okay, we know that works. This is supposed to be a 5/16 tube, and therefore we need a 5/16 fuel line to connect it. I'm not sure if that's what this is, so let's see if it'll work. And I think the answer is yes. I was afraid this might be another 3/8 or even a 7/16, which would be disastrously big. But this seems like a good snug fit so that we can put that on there, and then we secure it with hose clamps. It turns out these came with hose connectors, which is a good thing, except these are what you call ear style hose connectors, okay? They're just a looped piece of steel with a little ear sticking out on it. You put that in place, and then you have a special tool. It's a hose count, a hose, third time, hose clamp compressor that clamps these things down and secures them. All right. I have two issues with that. One, this is permanent, which in certain applications is okay. In the case of this, if I ever had to change this fuel line, I would literally have to cut these off and refit the line completely. I'm not crazy about having to do that. So that you can, there are other types of these. They have the screw closures or the spring type closures. I personally think the screw closures are the easiest because you can screw them, unscrew them. The disadvantage there is they can get loose over time. This will not get loose. Once you put this on, it's there until the end of days. That's why you have to cut it off if you ever have to redo it. So, problem with that, I don't want to use these for that reason. The other reason is I don't have the bloomin' tool to put these on, and I see no point in going to buy it. I have searched my vast inventory of junk, and believe me, I got a lot of junk. And I have not found any small hose clamps. Found some big ones. I got some that big around. I don't know if I'll ever use those. But I don't have any small ones. So in order to complete this job, you know what we have to do? Road trip. Got him. It only took half an hour to find him. It's okay. I got lunch while I was at it. Okay, and we're back. It actually took longer than I figured it should. But anyway, got the hose clamps. In fact, bought plenty of hose clamps. And like I said before, it only took me half an hour to locate them. But once I did, we're in good shape. Now, let's see if we can't get a little connection going here and make us a fuel line. Care of one end. Let's go ahead and do the other end. I probably will shorten this when things actually come down to it. But for the time being, we're just going to get it assembled on there because it's might still be a day or two before we actually run gas through it. Will it go over? Oh yeah, it will. Okay. Those of you who've been watching for a while know how long we've been waiting to actually see this construct. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? Let's get it in place. Well, it's not tight. It's probably not the final routing of that hose either, but it is hooked up. And that alone is cause for me to rejoice. I tell you what, it has been a long road getting to this point with a lot of wrong turns. But we finally made the right ones, and we've got our connection between the fuel pump and the carburetor in Pearl. Now, I should note that this is still just the first step of this entire fuel hookup adventure. We've completed the final link where I didn't have a completed connection now. And although, like I said, it's not tightened down, we don't know if it's gas tight yet or not. We can make it that way, I'm quite sure, whenever the time comes. Point is, we've got the fuel line connection, okay? Now, it's time to go back to the beginning. That means being sure the gas tank is in good shape. We really need to drop it, clean it out, be sure it's in good condition, and then put it back in place. Check our fuel line all the way from the tank right up here at the fuel pump. Seems to be okay, just a cursory examination, but we need to look at it a little closer. So there's still more things to come before we actually run gasoline through Pearl. But now that I have a complete connection from the gas tank to the carburetor, I'm feeling pretty good about it. Pretty good. And I hope you're feeling pretty good about it too. Thanks a lot for sticking with me through this entire adventure of getting the gas line hooked up. And hopefully you are sharing my excitement about getting this taken care of, finally getting the right parts. Once we did, it all went together like a piece of pie and a spoon or fork, whichever you prefer. So yeah, I knew that once we got the right parts, it wasn't going to be rocket science, and sure enough, it's hooked up now. It's ready to go on this end. We just have to go back to the other end and start working from there. We'll do that later on. Thanks a lot for being part of it today, for coming along on this adventure as we work to get my beautiful Pearl running again. And if you're not a subscriber to this channel, please do so. That'll really help our YouTube numbers. Giving me a thumbs up will help those numbers as well a whole lot. Check out themtandme.com. Buy me a coffee. Tune in every week right here for the MT and me. I love you, my nomies. Thanks again. I'm Russ. Hey, we will talk later.